Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative. Speak to Ayden and Roy about Confess Fletch in theaters on digital on demand September 16th. Thank you both for your time.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm doing great. This is a great film. Roy, my question for you is there's a big appetite for like true crime and who did it. There's a big appetite for that now with the podcast and everything. You know, this has this, obviously. We're trying to figure out what's going on. There's a murder mystery, but it's obviously got the comedy, so it's a lot different. What's that like for you, the blending of like the true crime and the comedy in this project?
I thought that that's what made this project so perfect tonally for where we are now as a society in terms of how we consume this genre of filmmaking, and shouts out to the old Fletch because I love that old franchise and I laughed hard, but it's the perfect marriage of something that people already care a lot about and things that, we know how to make this funny, which heightens it a little bit, which is what makes the source material from the Greg McDonald books so perfect for this time. Like this film is exactly on the pulse of where we are right now, comedically and mysterically. That's not a word, but I just made it a word.
Absolutely. It's great that you mentioned that because, Ayden, that was actually my question for you. It's familiar territory and at the same time unfamiliar territory with people know the character of Fletch, the movies, the books, but this is like Confess Fletch coming out September 16th. It's its own thing. What's that like kind of when you're kind of working on a project like that? Because I feel like that's a unique situation for an actor specifically.
It is. Roy, did you say mysterically?
Yeah, comedically and mysterically.
Comedically and mysterically unique. Yes. I tried not to be too inspired or take anything too much from any of the old movies or other cop movies or anything, because I just felt like my character is kind of her own thing and I haven't really seen someone like her as a cop before. But I just wanted to really tap into my own need to do a good job and to be liked, and that kind of try hard that lives within all of us, that we all try to play it cool, but Grizz can't play it cool.
Roy, is it fun working on a project knowing that, you're working on a project where the audience member is going to be like a detective the whole time? Like I love being a consumer, being kind of on the edge of my seat, trying to figure out and penciling everything in. Is it fun knowing that the audience is going to have that experience with a film like this?
It's fun, but it's also fun in knowing that as the cop characters in this show, Ayden and myself, we are the eyes and we are the inquisitors on the behalf of the audience. And even then, you're only getting half of it because you still have to pay attention to what you see. And you have to see things, without giving too much of it away. In murder mysteries, we are traditionally trained as viewers to see things through the eyes of the cop or the investigator. And that's what makes Fletch so interesting as a franchise, is that he's not a cop. So the way he looks at stuff is so wacky and weird, but somehow he still comes back to the truth. It's like that new math that they keep trying to make your kids learn that's just as good as the old math has worked fine, but now there's this new weird math. But the weird math somehow is as effective. And it's like, what is this weird math that keeps showing up in the room? So I think that part of it is that not only are we a part of giving clues to the audience, but we're kind of also part of the misdirect, when the writers do their job, which they did on this.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up quickly, Ayden, when they get a chance to see Confess Fletch, what are you hoping they get out of it specifically? Super quick.
I hope when people see Confess Fletch that they have a great time. Like, it is fun, it's a mystery, and I guarantee you will laugh.
Absolutely. Going to be available September 16th. Thank you both for your time. It was so great chatting with you.
In theaters, too. Go to the theaters.
Go to the theaters, people.
PD Beats here from Popternative. Speak to Lorenza Izzo about Confess Fletch in theaters on digital on demand September 16th. It's good to see you again. We talked recently. Thank you for being back.
How are you? We spoke recently,
for the Aviary. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Horror film thriller. This kind of a little different than that. You know what I mean? The whodunit, the comedy and everything. Is it cool to work on a film that is very funny, has those comedy moments, but also has well, there's an appetite for true crime right now and for whodunit and everything, but this is where the comedy like, what's that like blending those two together?
It's great. I'm a big fan of that genre. I
Yeah.
love comedy, and it's something I've been exploring and I've been trying to get into for a long time because it's really difficult. It's quite scary. I feel more comfortable maybe in drama than I do in comedy.
Yep.
And I think melting those melting, what's the word? Merging.
Yeah, merging.
Merging opposite genres opposite themes is always great. It's always a good combo when done well. And I just hope that comes across on the script. It was so well done, and it's a fun universe. Fletch is just a really ridiculous character that gets tangled up in ridiculous situations and has his toolkit of charm and dry humor to get out of it. So that was a fun ride to be a part of.
And it's pretty cool because, I've been seeing this in the other interviews as well. It's like for a lot of the cast and crew involved with this movie, it's like there's familiar territory, but at the same time, unfamiliar territory because people know Fletch and the source material, but it's 2022. Those movie came out in the 80s and everything. I feel like that's a unique situation for an actor as well, right?
Yeah. It's just, it's cool to be able to bring something that was written like far back, but it's the backbone of it, the theme of it, the whodunit thing is not old anymore. It's not anymore. It'll never be old. That's like a theme that just transcends time. And then you're giving it the modern, writing and you're setting it in modern time. And I think that's why it works for both ways. And it's, it'll be cool to see, what the fans of the original or the books or the IP know about. And then I think we have that, right? We have both elements. We have the structure of Fletch, and I think Jon just does such a good job of bringing this Fletch because it's a subtle, timeless type of persona that he brought to the character that I think he did wonderfully. And I think that the play with all the more out there, let's say, characters pays off because of that difference.
He is not a detective. Let's just say that, okay?
He's an investigative journalist of some repute. But I'm pretty sure our friend Roy would disagree, and so would Ayden.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I spoke to them not too long ago, and they're like, we're the ones that are the
yeah.
Lorenzo, so great chatting with you. It's going to be available in theaters on digital demand September 16th. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. So great chatting with you.
I'm so happy I did. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.